It's 12:17 a.m. I'm sitting in my tiny apartment studio, the faint smell of acrylic paint and marker ink in the air, my sketchbook open on my desk, and I can still hear my boss Vivian's voice at the National Design Awards Gala, accepting the trophy for Best Brand Design, thanking her incredible team, and never once mentioning my name, even though I designed every single part of the brand that won. I'm a graphic designer, 2 years out of design school, working at a boutique design agency in Brooklyn. The girl who designed 80% of the agency's award-winning work in the last year, who'd brought in 3 of their biggest clients, and 48 hours ago, I was convinced I'd never work in the design industry again. Vivian had taken all my designs, put her name on them, taken all the credit for the awards, and when I confronted her in her office, she just laughed, fired me on the spot, and told me she'd called every single design agency and brand in the city, told them I was a lazy, entitled thief who stole work from the team, and that no one would ever hire me. I applied to 17 jobs in 2 days, got rejected from every single one, spent the nights crying, staring at my sketchbook, convinced all my talent, all my hard work was for nothing, until I remembered the layered design files I'd saved to my personal hard drive for every single project I worked on at the agency. I'd saved every single version, every sketch, every draft, every layer, dated months before Vivian claimed she designed them. A habit I'd picked up in design school after a classmate stole my final project and presented it as her own. That's the first twist. The files had every single step of my design process, from the first rough sketch to the final polished design, proving I was the one who'd created every single piece of work Vivian had taken credit for, including the award-winning brand design. I compiled all the files, every timestamp, every draft, and posted a thread on Twitter and Instagram with all the evidence, only for Vivian to post a response, calling me a disgruntled ex-employee, saying I faked the files, and her industry friends started sharing her post, calling me a fraud, blacklisting me even further. That's the second twist. Vivian wasn't just stealing my work, she'd been stealing work from every single junior designer at the agency for years, and all her industry friends were covering for her because they'd done the same thing to their junior designers. I felt like my whole world was crashing down, until I remembered the NDAs I'd signed with the agency's clients, which had a clause that said the client had full rights to the design files, and that the designer who created the work had to be credited in all public materials. That's the third twist. Vivian had violated the client contracts by taking credit for my work, and the clients had no idea I was the one who designed their brands. Every single client I'd worked with had signed a contract that required them to credit the original designer, and Vivian had lied to them, told them she'd done all the work. I sat with that for an hour, my blood boiling so hot I could barely breathe. Then I sent every single piece of evidence, the design files, the timestamps, the client contracts, to every single client I'd worked with, to the Design Awards Committee, to every major design publication, and to every junior designer who'd ever worked at Vivian's agency. That's the fourth and final twist. I didn't just clear my name. The Design Awards Committee stripped Vivian of her trophy, banned her from ever entering the awards again. Every single client I'd worked with dropped Vivian's agency and hired me as a freelance designer, paying me twice what I'd made at the agency, and 6 other junior designers came forward with their own stories of Vivian stealing their work, ruining her reputation in the industry forever. I now run my own freelance design studio, have 12 retainer clients, have been featured in every major design publication, and I run a mentorship program for young female designers to help them protect their work and get the credit they deserve. I still sit at this desk every night, still sketch in my notebook, still smell the acrylic paint and marker ink in the air, but now, I own my work, I get the credit. I never let anyone make me feel like my talent isn't worth fighting for. The scratch of my marker on paper doesn't feel like a reminder of what I almost lost. It feels like a reminder that you don't need a fancy job title or a big agency to be successful. All you need is your talent, your integrity, and the courage to stand up for yourself.